A number of themes have emerged here: identity, agency, and emotion. I'd like to treat these as they relate to the study our group did of academics' use of Web 2.0 technologies. I was specifically assigned to the part of the survey that covered professional use, that is, use not related to teaching or interacting with students, what is generally considered scholarly or disciplinary work. And we were often reminded, by the way, in that study, of just how fuzzy professional is as a term in the academy. So in class last night, the concept of negotiated identity came up. That is, identity construction in these kinds of social networks is a process of negotiation between ourselves, who we imagine ourselves to be, or whom we would like to be perceived by others, and how others actually perceive us. That is, we don't get to just pick our identity as much as we might want to try, because social networking is much more real than we might think it is, and people tend to call us out on disparities. We saw examples of that in the Jenkins text, as a matter of fact. So as Monica said earlier, educators are wrapped up in the old expert paradigm, and this has resulted in attention. To turn Jeannie's phrase a bit, academics have had their identity, and through it a kind of agency, granted through a series of rituals and practices that the academic community agrees upon before it confers expert status, and thus allows us the agency to create and disseminate knowledge, or the permission. On the other hand, Web 2.0's new form of social expertise, that is a social agency that is negotiated among users and not simply conferred by experts on high, stands in stark contrast to the traditional academic paradigm, which is ancient. As Christine Borgman reminds us, scholarly journals still look quite a lot like they did in the 17th century. And, Francis Bacon was freaking out about, there's too many texts to keep up with back then too. So there's nothing new under the sun. Anyway, the kind of social agency that we're talking about here, as everyone from Dr. Kemp at the very beginning to Deb and Laura have noted, relies upon pathos and emotion as currency. This is another stark contrast with the academic hallowed hall's identity. One respondent to the survey wrote that, for the social apps, I'd rather just have fun rather than worry about what colleagues might think I'm saying, etc., etc. That is, this person clearly recognized that the discourse of social networking, that the allowances of social networking is highly different, in this case fun or emotionally charged, than typical discourse expected of an academic professional, where academic agency might be accurately described as an ability to question things and create knowledge, Turnbull 2004. Online, agency is more often perceived by academics as a place to react, a much more provincial and emotion-driven behavior, as Jeannie and Deb write. At the same time, some respondents expressed that Web 2.0 tools allowed them a great deal more agency, that is, the ability to do, than they had before, especially, and unsurprisingly really, in terms of collection, retrieval, archival, and most significantly, collaboration and connection. As one respondent wrote, "It's amazing we could even be scholars before all these tools." So throughout the survey, and despite anxieties about expertise and publication, respondents reported again and again on how Web 2.0 tools allowed them to do things they wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So to sum up, what I'm starting to see from here then, from all of this, is that as the agency or the ability to do is shifting, as scholars are allowed to do different kinds of scholarship and with different people and at different times, then the identity is beginning to change as well. Emotion, where does this fit? I don't know yet.